Hey, good morning, everyone. Hope you had a great weekend, and excited to be here with you this morning. Some of you may have seen I was advertising a special guest that we were going to have on today. And for those of you that were tuning in with the hopes and expectations of seeing Dr. Billy Alsbrooks today, unfortunately, there's a family, a death in his immediate family that occurred yesterday. And with that being the case, obviously, he had to postpone, but we are looking to get him scheduled probably for the end of the month to be with us and share an amazing, number one, an amazing story about his life and his journey and how he is impacting millions of people across the country, across the world, really. So what because I had to make this pivot kind of last minute, probably about, I don't know, 4 or 5 o'clock yesterday, I found out about this. I did want to still, because it's such an amazing message, I did want to still kind of give you a little bit of his story and have a better understanding of who he is. So when you do see him, you know exactly, where he's coming from with the message that he's delivering. And, you know, when you hear the story, I think you can kind of relate to it. Maybe your story is very different in certain aspects, but the bottom line is he was faced with challenges. He had certain things that happened in life that affected him in a way where it kind of ceased all of his productivity in life and the things that he was doing at that time. And he had to eventually overcome it. And I think we've all kind of been in those certain situations, or maybe you're in that situation right now. They talk about there's three parts to the storm. We're either going through a storm, or we're headed towards a storm, or we're coming out of a storm. But the fact of the matter is we are always at some part of those areas. And the key is, I think, number one, when you're going through it, what are the things that you do to help yourself to get out of it? And then who is the person that you become when you come out of the storm? So we're going to talk just in regards to some of those areas this morning. And what I wanted to do, I was going to share this video in regards to Billy before I brought him on. This particular video is really the one that put him on the map as a motivational speaker. It's the one that after, as he tells the story, he talks often about how, as he started this journey through becoming a motivational speaker and speaking from a faith-based standpoint, that he was putting out all these different videos, and none of the videos were really getting views. He said, he would get a like and he'd realize that it was his mom that was liking his YouTube video, or it was his aunt that was liking his video. So he wasn't really getting any traction. I'm going to first play the video and get you to understand the affirmations, and then I'm going to share more of his story so you can understand the growth that he had over this time. But what I want you to know is this was the video that just took off. And this was the video for him that really kind of changed his life in regards to doing international public speaking, to doing world tours. Right now, he's on another world tour, and I know some of you just joined us. Just so you know, just to let you know, Dr. Billy Alsbrooks had a family emergency that came up yesterday, so he will not be with us today. But I'm still going to share some of his teachings, and then also talk more about his story. And then he should be joining us. We're planning on April 30th that he should be able to join us at that point and really give you 30 minutes of motivational mastery is what I call it, because he's had a huge impact on my life from a spiritual level. I've had the opportunity to tour with him when I was on the speaker circuit. So he had a very strong impact just on my personal growth. And this particular video, it's about a 4-minute video that I'm going to share with you. It's on, in essence, affirmations. It's, and I think we all talk about affirmations. We talk about our goals and writing our goals down. But this particular message, I want you to, as you listen to it, understand that when he wrote this, he was going through one of his most challenging times in life. And I'll tell you that story after the video. But also think about it of applying this to the challenging times that you have. And if you create a mindset around this particular way of thinking that you're going to hear, how you cannot be defeated by anything, any challenge that faces you, if you go into it with this particular mindset, is going to make you stronger. I can tell you for many years, I listened to this particular video every day, multiple times a day sometimes, as I was building my real estate business, as I was coming out of my worst year in business. This was before I really went full-time in real estate. In 2016, I had my worst year in another business that I was doing. And I said in 2017, hey, we're going to rebuild in 2017 on the real estate business. This was the piece, this was the motivational piece that got me through that, of realizing that, okay, I don't feel like a champion, but I am a champion. And so let me play this video, and then we'll have a little bit more conversation from there.
The things you're about to hear are the powerful inner thoughts going on inside the mind.
You guys hear that? Give me a thumbs up.
This is the inner symphony of greatness, the epic soundtrack of success. I was born a champion. I was raised a champion. I got champion in my bloodline. I've always been a champion. I will always be a champion. And when I close my eyes and die, I will be a champion. On my headstone, they will write champion. Every time they mention my name, they will say champion. My legacy is champion. My obituary will read champion. Every time they mention my name, they will say champion. Because I am a champion. Every day that I get up, I say, good morning, champion. When I look in the mirror, I see a champion. When I go to the gym, I work out like a champion. When I eat like a champion. And the stuff I read makes me an even better champion. The stuff I put in my mind is champion. Because all day, I am a champion. From sunrise to sundown, from the moment I open my eyes to the moment I close them, I am a champion. I pray, I think, I speak, I walk like a champion. No loss, no setback, no mistake will ever change that. I'm a conqueror, born to succeed, anointed to prosper, blessed and unstoppable. And I will arise out of the ashes because my God will not fail me, because I am, always have been, and always will be a champion. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. I can do all things because with God, all things are possible, and I am a champion doing the impossible. Failure is not an option. I refuse to concede because I'm a champion when I bleed. My blood is champion, and anything that stands in my way, I will go through it, over it, or around it, because I am a champion. Nothing can stop me. Blessed and unstoppable. I am the undefeated, undisputed, never beaten champion of the world. The world says I'm a loser. I get up every day and go to war with that statement. They think I'm lazy. I'm hungrier than ever. Beast mode, I'm eating all competition. The devil says I've got no money. Money comes to me easily, frequently, and abundantly in God's perfect way. The world says I'm crazy. The world belongs to the bold. They remind me of the losses I've taken, They say I'll never recover. I serve the God of restoration. I will make a comeback. They say you can't pay your bills with dreams. Success will come off the assembly line of my mind. They say I only have average talent. Hard work and discipline are the great equalizer. Why don't you get a 9-to-5, a normal job that pays every week? Because I'm the head and not the tail. Above, not below. I was strategically designed for greatness. It looks like your God has forgotten you. My God will never leave me nor forsake me. You really believe all that stuff you're saying? Destiny is obligated by universal law to concede to the demands of unwavering faith, and I believe I'm a champion, committed, hungry, dedicated, fearless, bold, never wavering, full of faith, anointed, prosperous, strong, righteous, focused, disciplined, willing to do whatever it takes to be a champion. I will arise one day and make a fool out of all those who doubted me. I will live with no fear. I will boldly attack the things that scare me. They will not stop me or my destiny. No health issues, no job issues, no financial issues, no relationship issues. Nothing shall stand in the way of my divine calling, because I am a champion. I was born a champion, raised a champion, have always been a champion, will always be a champion. My legacy is champion. When it's all said and done, on my headstone, they will write champion.
All right. So again, for me, like I said, let me make sure turn off this video here. 1 second. All right. So for me, going 2017, 18, 19, this was something that I listened to on a regular basis. When I wrote my book in 2020, I wanted to interview him for my book because I knew the impact that he had on me, and I knew his story. So I actually flew to Chicago. He was doing a speaking engagement there, and I flew to Chicago to interview him for my book. And when through that interview, it was I understood the challenges that he went through in life. And the thing about it, his biggest challenge that he went through was a 7-year ordeal. And it was really from a standpoint of mental health. What happened is, prior to this challenge coming up, he was a pretty successful rapper in the Miami, Florida area. He toured in the local circuits of Florida. Very well known in that southern part of the country, and had a very successful career with that. He had a situation where his father had a stroke, and he kind of put everything on pause with his career there, and he was helping with his father through recovery. And they got to a point where they thought they were going to be able to move his father to a facility where he would be in a better place for rehab. Well, what happened is, because he had been in the bed for so long, this is while he was in the hospital, and they moved him, he had a blood clot that went straight into his lungs, and he had a pulmonary embolism. And Billy witnessed this. He saw his father die, and he saw his father go from being alive and speaking to dying in a matter of moments. And it was so traumatic for him. It put him in a place of having these panic attacks, and he would have panic attacks on a daily basis. And this lasted for about 7 years. 7 years that he went through this. Now, as he was trying to work through getting through some of these challenges, again, he started, his father was a recovering alcoholic, but after, many years of sobriety, his father found God, and Billy, kind of felt like he needed to get back into the church. So he got his degree in theology, and He kind of left his rap career behind, and his calling became speaking to the masses and speaking about these challenges that he had. And when he realized that he could overcome the challenges that he had in his own life, and a big part of it was through, motivational, he was listening to Les Brown, he was listening to Tony Robbins, he was listening to so many different speakers, that he realized that this was where his calling was. And so over, the probably the last 15 years, this is the space that he's been working in. And as I mentioned, that the video that you just saw, he had made several videos like that prior to this video taking off. And as he tells the story, he talks about how he was frustrated because the impact that he was looking to make was not being received by the masses. He was uploading a new video, motivational video every week. And he was getting, the 15, the 20, the 30 views over the course of a week or 2 weeks at a time. And so when he went into his studio was basically his living room. He had a microphone right there, in the living room, and he, turned on the mic. And this, again, being a rapper and an artist, someone that, creates lyrics and things of that nature, this message came to him, and he wrote the message down, and then he got in front of a microphone and delivered this particular message. And he delivered it with anger and passion because of the frustration behind what he was going through. And you can hear when he's talking about other people doubting him, and but yet he's coming at it from a standpoint of, my God is not going to let me down. And so when you have someone that, it has that type of conviction, and you can hear it through their passion, that is, I'm sure, the message, because that's the message that resonated with me. And I'm sure that was, probably him in his most authentic form, coming through a microphone and into the ears of other people that listen to that message. And I think that's why it has become such an impactful message, and one of his strongest videos, that is out there. Again, since for the last 15 years, he has never missed a week of putting out a new video. He's got a challenge that I just mentioned to you, his mother-in-law passing away. But I guarantee you there will be a video that comes out this Wednesday that he puts out, because that was his promise to himself and his commitment that he will never, miss putting his information out to the masses. So I wanted to share that with you, to kind of share, for each and every one of us. We all have challenges that we go through. They can be personal challenges, they can be business challenges, and then when those personal and business challenges hit at the same time, it's just one of those things of we have to figure out how to be able to work through them. And for me, this particular 4-minute video was one of those things that always reminded me of how important it is to be able to work through whatever it is that you're going through, and know that, again, you're in the storm, but you're not going to stay stuck in the storm. Eventually you will get out. And depending on how you work, how you develop in the storm, and is going to determine the person that comes out of it. And the expectation anytime that we have a challenge is that we come out of it better than we were when we went into it. And I always, you guys, if you've listened to me before, you know that I always equate it to going to the gym, that, the work that we put in while we're in the gym is for the purposes of making us stronger than we were when we came in. So when we leave, we're leaving stronger. Maybe we've taken our muscles to muscle failure, but we know that the growth of those muscles as they rebuild is only making us stronger. And we have to kind of look at our faith and our belief in self, of being the same way, of knowing that even though I'm going through this challenging time right now, that on the other side of this is the best version of me that I have not even seen yet. And so, my question really to you, and, whether you want to answer it by coming off mute or just ask yourself this: what are the things that you are doing right now? Who are you listening to? Who are you reading? And what are the steps that you're taking for yourself to ensure that the person you are today is getting better, and is going to be a better version of you tomorrow? And then as you're going through challenges, how are you facing those challenges? I know, many of you that are on here, and we've had conversations, and I know that, through some of our conversations, I remember first talking to you and knowing kind of how you dealt with adversity that occurred in life. And then I know how you deal with it now. And you are a totally different person that deals with that. So that in itself is the very growth that we're talking about. So just knowing that as we continue to grow, we're always just getting better. And when I talk about affirmations, one of them, and I don't have mine queued up right now, but I have my own affirmation video like that. I've played it only one other time in public. I think it was right at the beginning of the year. And it's really just an affirmation of all the things that I expect, not that I want, but that I expect for my future self. So, and what I did around that, we talk about vision boards. Everybody understands what vision boards are. I'm not a big fan of vision boards. The reason being because I've been to people's houses where they had a vision board, but it's sitting on the floor, it's collecting dust, or it's tucked away somewhere. So it's not really serving the purpose that it was made for. The other part of that with a vision board is when you make a vision board, you usually just make one. You don't have one. You have one maybe that's in your office. Maybe it's, in your bedroom. You don't have one that's in your car. You don't have one that's with you while you're on a walk. So what I created for myself was a digital vision board, and I did this through the form of a video. And it does two things. We've talked about affirmations before and how Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich discusses the power of writing your affirmations down daily, reading them daily, and reading them, writing them down in the morning, reading them throughout the course of the day, and then reading them again at night. And again, this is not just a ritual. This is something that you're doing to train your subconscious mind to believe, because the one thing about the subconscious mind is it believes whatever it is told. That's why we have to guard our mind in regards to when people are telling us that we can't do something or that you're not worthy of something, because eventually the subconscious mind, if it hears that enough, will start to believe that. And that's why, again, from a standpoint of creating my affirmations, with my subconscious mind, every time I go on a walk, as a matter of fact, when I get done here, I'm going on about a 40-minute walk where and my affirmations about 5 minutes, 36 seconds. And I will probably listen to that for 20 minutes. I'll listen to it probably 4 times on that walk, because I am just re-embedding into my subconscious mind of all the things that I am expecting to have in the future. So creating something along those lines for yourself, whether you're writing your goals down, reading your goals, we should all be doing that. Again, Think and Grow Rich tells us that, Tony Robbins tells us that, Les Brown tells us that. So, if you look in the Bible, Habakkuk 2:2 tells us, write the vision, make it plain, so he that readeth will run with it. So just understanding that our goals are very powerful when they are written and we read them, and you will start to see them come to fruition. So for me, it just became one of those things of being able to put them in a form where, again, when the video is playing, all the things that I expect to have in the future are on that video. So I visually see them. If I'm walking, though, I'm not necessarily looking at the video. I'm listening to all of those things. So the visual and the auditory are being activated as I'm going through that process. So that's one of those areas that, I really learned from Billy Alsbrooks and some of my other mentors that are doing that on a regular basis. So that really is kind of what I wanted to mainly share today, because the conversation that Dr. Alsbrooks and I were going to have today was around, the affirmations. I'm going to make sure when he does come on April 30th, we touch on that. He may have a different message by then, especially, again, he's going through a challenge right now that prevented him from being able to be here today. And I guarantee you, on the other side of it, he's going to come out a better person. So he may be sharing that message with us. So with that, I hope, again, Monday today finds you in a wonderful place. But if you also have those challenges that you're going through, number one, know that you're not going through them alone, and know that there is, a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, or really the storm cannot last forever. You're eventually going to get through the storm. The key is to keep moving as you get through the storm. So I'm looking forward to having him on April 30th and really giving you the opportunity to see the gentleman that, I admire so much. So hate that he couldn't have made it this week, but I think it's going to even be a better opportunity for you now that you kind of have some insight into who he is. You get even a greater message from him when he's on April 30th. And if you are in San Diego, he was supposed to be here this coming Sunday. He's actually pushing that out, where I think it's going to be April 29th. So it's going to be the day before he comes on the Monday Mindset. Let me know if you're interested in attending. If you're here in San Diego, I'll make sure to get you the link. If you are a veteran or veterans in the San Diego area, he actually allows veterans to attend this event at no cost. So definitely, reach out to me and we can get them on the guest list for that. I'm going to just open it up real quick. Any questions or anything from anyone? Alyssa, Allison. Okay. Do me a favor here. Let me put my phone number in the chat. Text me, and then we can coordinate on that. And if anyone else has any questions or you're interested, feel free to text this same number. All right. And no other questions. Well, I want to thank everyone for being here. Like I said, we had to kind of change things up at the last minute, but I think it worked out well. And I'm excited for you to meet Dr. Alsbrooks in a couple of weeks. But in the meantime, you guys have a great rest of your day, an amazing week. And we look forward to seeing you soon. All right. Take care.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.